At the moment, he's going to get my vote as Young Boxer of the Year in the British Boxing Writers' Poll. 22 years old, from Manchester, and I think this young fellow has everything it takes to become a big name. Whether he does will depend on how he makes the graduation from this kind of class up to championship level, and his British championship chance could be coming pretty soon. Trying to line up Richie Wenton, the British title holder. Brodie's the one in the striped shorts. Fast hands, good combinations, can fight at either super bantamweight or featherweight, so in theory he could end up being a challenger to Prince Nassim Hamed, though I don't think that's a realistic proposition just at the moment. He's fighting Miguel Matthews, 30-year-old, who's in his 97th fight tonight. Coal merchant in South Wales, and usually puts up a pretty durable performance, but nearly always in the opponent type category without being too brutal about it.
Yes, I've been impressed with this young man, Michael Brodie, and he's in with an experienced fighter, and I think they're just trying to get him work. It's very difficult to get Brodie work because he is so good. But I think the camp are very confident. Jack Triggett already thinks he's ready for a British title fight.
You saw a three-punch combination from Brodie there, and then a very fast straight right hand as well. He puts them together well, doesn't he? I bet you, outside the boxing fraternity of those who are with us here for Judgment Night, this spectacular night, and remember Tyson Holyfield and all the big heavyweight fights from Las Vegas still to come, I bet very few have heard of Michael Brodie. In a couple of years, you might well have done. Brodie's mother died when he was very young. He's been raised by his brother. Trains at the Phoenix Gym in Manchester. With Ensley Bingham and Carl Thompson and the rest. After the retirement of his former trainer, Ray Farrell. Fierce shot to the body. Be a good stoppage win if he can beat Matthews.
It'll be very good. Only the good fighters stop Matthews. He's very capable, very gritty and determined. And I think Brodie will be looking for the stoppage. He's got a very good repertoire, mixes from head and body. But it's still a difficult task because Matthews is very experienced. So it's going to be difficult for Brodie to get the stoppage, but I'm sure that's what they want.
In fact, Nassim Hamed fought Matthews on the way up, beat him in 3 rounds. Colin McMillan also beat him in 3. Good left hooks to the body among the dazzling array of punches that Brodie is able to produce. He does look a natural. He's only 22, unbeaten in 17 so far. And in that first round, I hope you can see what I mean. Back. There's Michael Brodie working in the corner with Billy Graham, who has to carry on working despite the big disappointment of Ensley Bingham's failure to win a world title tonight.
That's right, he'll be disappointed about that, but I think he'll be excited about this young fighter, Michael Brodie. You see some of the good work there from the last round. He mixes his punches up very well.
Second round, and that's one of the fascinating things about watching these undercard bouts. You do see quite a few of the stars of tomorrow coming through. I can remember seeing Prince Nassim when he was at this stage, and not many people were really talking about him. In fact, a lot of people just thought he was a brash young showman who would be exposed. Didn't turn out that way, did it?
Not exactly.
Brodie, remember, in the stripes. Miguel Matthews, age 30. It's quite an achievement, isn't it, to get to 97 professional fights. He's due the century pretty soon.
Yes, he's very, very busy. This is his 13th fight this year, so that shows you how active he is.
Oh, good right hand there. That shook Matthews a bit. He's digging the shots around to the body, trying to bring the guard down, Brodie. And he does appear to have the repertoire. Look at that left uppercut as well. In his last fight, Matthews was beaten by Alvis Parsley in Wolverhampton. Parsley, who was famously introduced recently by the MC as Elvis Presley. And the MC's been getting phone calls from Mickey takers ever since. I kid you not. I'll spare his blushes by not naming him. You won't tell them that it's Nat Basso, will you?
I wasn't going to mention a thing. Thought you weren't either. Matthews adopting a very high guard. He's been hurt by Brodie, and he's trying to keep his hands up. He doesn't want to get hurt again. And Brodie's just trying to slot punches in, just trying to get the hands down and find a way in to get to Matthews again.
Brodie trying to work off the jab as well. Good body shot from him. I think the management, Jack Trickett, handling his career in Manchester, are anxious not to rush him too much, but he may take some holding back, mightn't he?
He will. He's doing some good work here. He's trying to bring these hands down. He's a tough and gritty performer, Miguel Matthews, and he's having his hands full here with this young talent, Michael Brodie, who's really working him over around the body and picking his punches so well.
It'd be interesting to hear what Matthews says about Brodie after this, because he's been in with a lot of good fighters. Well, Brodie's producing another impressive display here. He's a man of few words. I said to him in an interview this week, I said, did you fancy fighting Prince Nassim Hamed maybe a year or two down the road? He said, no, I want to fight Marco Antonio Barrera. Everyone wants to fight Nassim.
Well, I think he also sees himself pretty naturally as a super bantamweight. So I think, you know, Barrera being the champion at super bantamweight and being a big name and, you know, a spectacular fighter, I think that's what he wants. You see the sort of body shots. Look how many body shots Brodie threw, trying to bring them hands down. 33-2. Impressive. Look at him digging them in around the corner there. Just looks for a gap. There's not many gaps there. Matthews got a very tight guard, but Brodie still pulling the shots out.
Here we go.
It's worth making the point, of course, that Michael Brodie will face stiffer tests than these on the way up, because Matthews so far has really had to be in not much more than survival mode. He has, in fact, lost 74 of those 96 fights, but that statistic doesn't really tell the story of the good, honest performances that he's put up in good company. He's now with Pat Cowdell, who was one of our very best featherweights a few years back, and Ron Gray as well, famous Midlands fight figure. And he's actually won 4 of the last 15, which actually represents an improvement.
Yeah,
for
quite
him.
well. But he's a real circuit pro who goes around, you know, real have gloves, will travel, always gives his best. He's always in there trying. You know, he's a test for the young up-and-coming fighters.
Well, Brodie there just shoved him to the floor.
Here we go. Fox.
Touch gloves, good atmosphere between the two of them. So far, he's won 12 inside schedule, 12 out of 17. Pretty good right hand got through there. But like so many before him, he's finding that Matthews is a very resilient and absorbent kind of fighter.
But doesn't he look good, Brodie, when he mixes it up, when he just put these little bursts in? He looks exciting.
Good lateral movement, finds different angles, footwork's good, and there's a flow about him, a rhythm, isn't there?
Yes, look at the way he picked the left uppercut, then the left hook, then the right hook. Really good repertoire of punches.
Of course, there will be other questions to be asked down the road, like what's he like under pressure in a really tough, grueling battle with a top fighter.
Yes, I'm sure he'll have them questions down the road, but as yet he's gone through his fights very well. 17 fights, 17 wins, 12 KOs, and he's looked good in compiling that record.
We hope you at home are enjoy watching this young talent in action on our way to Judgment Night Part 2 from Las Vegas, and the 3 heavyweight showdowns culminating in Tyson against Holyfield, finally. And remember, that one is on Sky Box Office. That's a great right hand from Brodie. Natural combination puncher.
John Gale to ringside, please. John Gale to ringside. Thank you.
See, people have been saying, haven't they, as we look at the computer there, he's landed 135 to Matthews 21. I've heard people say, oh, the British boxing scene is dying and dead, but there are a lot of good prospects around at the moment.
Lots of good up-and-coming fighters, and Brodie's just one of very many. We've got some good heavyweights coming up, some good lighter fighters. So I think that the scene's going very well. We always seem to have an abundance of up-and-coming fighters, and certainly it's going good now. And Brodie, as you rightly said at the beginning, is one of the better ones.
And I think just looking at the way he's performing, you'll realize that this is not hype.
Here we go. Here we go, lads.
It's people like Peter Richardson, who's not really that young a man. At light welterweight, Shane Neary you saw the other day, and winning so well against Darryl Tyson. Ryan Rhodes is in a British title fight soon, big mate of Naz's, fighting for the light middleweight title. These are fighters to keep your eye on. And this man in here too, with the striped shorts, Michael Brodie.
Right.
As an amateur, he won National Boys Club title, Junior ABA, boxed for Young England. Referee Terry O'Connor. Just to clean it up a little bit.
Step back, both.
Again, a good array of punches there from Brodie. Switching on body head. Got a lethal-looking left hook to the body. But Matthews, he's been around. Look at him, almost crab-like. Get them hands up, get some elbows tucked in. He doesn't want to take anything.
Very one-sided, isn't it?
Yes, Matthews is game, and he's trying, and he's coming forward, trying to push Brodie back, but Brodie he's having it all his own way.
You spot anything about Brodie you don't like, Glenn?
I'm not keen on the shorts, really, but everything else, he's pretty good. I think for a young fighter, he has everything going for him.
He looks like he comes from Texas in those, doesn't he? Or Minnesota, not Manchester.
Yeah, they're not really Manchester shorts, are they?
Right. What's this?
Good left hook again from Brodie. He's covering out well, though, Miguel Matthews. You learn to look after yourself after 97 fights in there, don't you?
Oh, you certainly do. If you're going to have 13 fights just this far into the year, you've got to be able to fight. You've got to be able to protect yourself, certainly.
I'll tell you something else, too. Without the likes of Miguel Matthews, there wouldn't be a boxing scene. These undercard fighters, they get no headlines, no glory. There's no million-dollar purses for them. You usually have to go to work during the day, train morning, train at night afterwards, don't get paid very much. You go home with a lot of bruises and back to work the next morning.
That's right, they are very much the respected men of the game. Have gloves, will travel. And especially the likes of Miguel Matthews, who don't just come up to make the numbers. They come to fight, they come to push their men, try and get a win when they can.
And that's why he has all those fights, isn't it? Because promoters like that kind of thing. They want that kind of fighter on their bill.
Yes, they know he's going to be value for money. They know he's going to put a fight up. He's not just going to lie down.
So it's good that he's getting a nice honourable mention on television tonight, isn't it?
Yes, he certainly is, Ian. You're doing well for him. And then we see the stats of Brodie: 66 thrown, 30 landed. So he's not missing with many. Only 12 for Miguel Matthews.
112 with 3 knockouts, 74 defeats and 10 draws is the full record of Miguel Matthews. His 13th fight this year, as Glenn was telling you. 97 in 8 years. Everything to Brodie so far, according to Glenn McCrory, and most others watching, I would think.
I was just going to say, are you differing with me there, Ian?
Wouldn't dream of it.
Well, you have in the past.
And will again.
They're good punches from Brodie there, but Miguel Matthews doing well to get the gloves tucked up, protecting the chin there.
Matthews scoring with the jab. Sometimes late on in a fight, having seen what's in front of him, Matthews just gets a wee bit more ambitious. Let's see if that happens here. Due to go 6 this one, and we're in the 5th. See Jack Trickett in the background there with the glasses on at ringside, on the far side, watching his charge Brodie in action. I have to tell you, the arena has emptied dramatically since Ben Collins, but that's another part of the scene for these undercard fighters. They sometimes have to play almost towards the dead of night in front of empty halls.
It's often very difficult late on at night, having to perform. The atmosphere has gone. It's a big venue, and you just got to get on with your business. It's tough.
Mind you, the atmosphere will soon be recharged again when we get up to Las Vegas. Getting on for 4 hours gone on Judgment Night. And what is it? About another 6 or so to go. Get the copies in. Covering up well again, Matthews. Behind that high-held guard, elbows tucked in by the ribcage. Hard to get a clean shot at him. Keep it tidy, says the ref.
Well, Brodie has shown a great repertoire of skills. He's very, very good. But credit to Miguel Matthews. He's getting his hands up. He's doing his job very well indeed. He's pushing Brodie, and he's trying to tuck up and not take too much.
One thing with Brodie, just looking through his record, I noticed he was stopped as an amateur, so I suppose there has to be the question, how will he hold a shot at the top level?
Well, that's always a question, but I wouldn't read too much into the amateurs. Often fights are stopped for almost a nosebleed in amateur boxing, so I wouldn't read too much into that.
You're speaking from personal experience there.
No, I'm not in.
Well, he's winning it all at the moment. 22-year-old Michael Brodie, young super bantamweight from Manchester. So many good fighters now coming out of Manchester, but they're still foiled in their bid to produce a world champion. Ensley Bingham, sadly tonight, brave effort that he put up was no match for the excellent Ronald Winky Wright. Look at that, he's thrown 287 punches, Brodie, and he's landed with 65% of them. Not bad.
Yes, that's a good quality. But credit to Matthews. Matthews is getting his hands up. He is taking a lot on the gloves. But I think the body punching of Michael Brodie has been impressive.
Last round of this one, then. Now they touch gloves. And if I wasn't mistaken, Miguel Matthews seemed to be doing a bit of cheerleading there. Well, we've seen 3 world championships decided tonight. Are we seeing a world champion of the future here, I wonder, in Michael Brodie? That's a question we really just have to leave in the ether for the moment.
Yes, but I'm looking forward. You know, certainly we'll watch his career. He's a good fighter.
And don't forget, more world champions coming up very shortly from Las Vegas. 3 world heavyweight title fights. And that's, of course, on Sky Box Office. It's been a bit like an extended workout, this, for Brodie, isn't it?
Yes, it's been almost like a sparring session for him. He's done good work. He's landed with good punches. But I think, you know, in credit to Matthews, he's managed to do his job. And his job is to test Brodie as much as he can, make a fight of it and not get hurt. And he's done that very well indeed.
Fancy him to beat Richie Wenton in a British title fight if that happened?
I think he's certainly got a good chance, and I think his camp will be looking for a fight like that very soon. It'll be interesting. I think he's ready for to move up in class.
Certainly be interesting to see that. It would be almost disappointing if he didn't make the graduation, wouldn't it, when he does possess such skill, but that has happened before.
Come on, lads, let's sort it out.
Fighters who are otherwise excellent, maybe there's just one little blemish in the makeup, and that really throws everything out of the window.
Yes, it takes all the ingredients to be a world champion. You've got to have a bit of everything.
Good right hand there from Matthews.
Come on, both of you.
Brodie caught by that one.
Break! Step back, step back. Sort it up.
Well, Miguel Matthews has made a living out of giving prospects and champions decent workouts. And we'd be lying to you if we told you this was anything much more than a marking time fight for young Brodie.
Matthews had a little bit of success in this round with a couple of good looping right hands, which landed on Brodie's chin, but he took them no problem.
Final few seconds here. The result will not be in doubt unless Matthews does something dramatic, which he doesn't. And Michael Brodie makes it 18 wins out of 18, and watch for him in future.
Make a note of the name Michael Brodie. Now, a little early.